zoning, and the sign inspector. Applicants can pick up their approved paperwork at the Old Kings Highway office once it's been recorded with the Yarmouth Town Clerk. Please allow until Wednesday afternoon for that process to be complete. Also, you should know there is a 10 calendar day appeal period starting once a decision is filed with the town clerk. Any person aggrieved by our decision tonight can appeal to the Regional Commission of the Old Kings Highway. Our office administrator would be happy to answer any questions you have with regard to that process. So we thank you in advance for your cooperation, and we'll begin with the first item, which is concerned with installing 19 solar panels on the rear roof at 6 Arthur Lane. The homeowners are Theodore and Jacqueline Deco. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Paul Eaton. I'm here to represent.
Okay, Trinity Solar.
Yes.
Good.
And we would like to install the 19 panels on the back of the house. The address.
There are no abutters here, it appears, right? Yeah.
This is the actual panel that's being installed?
Yes.
So these are 315 watt units?
I believe, yes, they are.
It's funny, this particular page, at the top it says solar modules mounted on roof, 19 315 watt, and one solar edge, P320. That's different. That's just the clamps, I guess, or something.
Yeah.
Just from a clarification point of view, on the description of proposed work, you say will not exceed roof panel, but will add 6 inches to roof height. Can you explain what you are getting at there?
Yeah, it's 6 inches above the roof.
The peak?
No, above the back side of the roof.
That's how
Not
far
the
they
peak.
stand off the...
Yes.
Okay.
Are the panels won't really match the color of the roof? Will they, or the panels are black,
The panels are black,
and the
correct?
roof is sort of grayish?
Yeah, it's a little like a gray.
It would appear that that section of the house is a fair distant from either White Rock or Gordon. Will there be any visibility from either of those roads?
It doesn't appear like there will be, no,
Yeah.
from what I could see.
Looks like a utility right away in the back. Makes it further away from any houses on the next street over. Good.
To make a motion to accept the application as submitted?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. It was, no, okay, cool, good. Now, if you would come up, there's a document which says basically that you're going to complete the project as designed, and if there are any changes, you let us know in advance.
Sure.
That's it. Thank you very much. Good night. Up.
Thank you.
The next item is concerned with construction of a 16 by 12 shed at 156 Summer Street. Dennis and Sally Ann Prebenson are the owners, and we have
Dennis Prebenson.
Dennis with us. Good. You have a long driveway.
We certainly do, yeah. It's a shared driveway for the other 4 neighbors or 5 neighbors that are on the street.
There's no planned external lighting on the shed?
We haven't, tell you the truth, we didn't even think about it, but we'd like, I would probably like to have a light, but there is a light on the garage above the doors, and that may be enough, because I don't anticipate using the shed at night.
So the driveway, this shared driveway to these 3 houses over here? One way in the back.
Yeah, the houses are fairly far away. The shed would be approximately 17 feet away from the driveway doors. And then there's a little cutout that's about 17 feet deep, where you pull out of the driveway, you
Yep.
can back into the
Turn
cutout.
around. Yeah,
That exists. And then the shed would be right there, behind that cutout.
I see. But from Summer Street, there must be 250 feet,
Oh, at least.
maybe 300.
I would say about 300, yeah. The shared driveway from Summer Street up to the house, the end of basically where you would start, is probably 1/10 of a mile. But I don't really consider that portion of the shared driveway my driveway. The portion that, from where I swing into my, there's a little bit of a
Yeah, where it
white
widens out.
fence. And the driveway goes off on the right to the neighbor to my left, and then I just go up my end, because the other driveways are off that major portion of the shared driveway.
Share the shoveling, too?
I have shoveled it last year, and this year I asked somebody if he would plow it when it snowed, because it's too much.
It's a lot.
Yeah. And I considered buying a snow blower, which is why I wanted to get a shed, keep it out there. But I don't even want to have to deal with a snow blower if I don't need to.
Yeah, there are plenty of guys around that do it, and they show up after the snow stops flying, or when it's up to 4 or 5 or 6 inches, whatever you
Right.
kind of can specify it to them, you know. I have a guy do mine, and it's a gravel driveway, so I don't have to touch it unless it's at least 3 or 4 inches on it.
Yeah.
Good. Any other questions?
Move to approve the application.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck with it. Let's see.
the 10-day appeal
All right.
period. But you can pick up the paperwork if you want Wednesday.
But I need the paperwork to get the permit.
Right. Yep.
So I can pick it,
You can come and pick the paperwork up.
Right.
Anytime Wednesday after.
do I have to, do they do that automatically?
No, you have to,
I have to bring the paperwork to them?
absolutely,
Oh,
yep.
so, yeah, so I just go pick up the paperwork.
From me and fill out the building
Fill out the
permit.
building permits and give
Yep.
it to them, and then it takes them 10 days.
No, it's a 10-day appeal period from.
Oh, I get you, right,
From
sorry.
tomorrow,
Yes, but
that
I
Board Kings
can
have
do
it,
it right
and then
that
you can
same
do it
day.
after, yeah.
And then wait,
Then
I
wait
can't do
10
anything.
days, and then you can submit for your building permit in 10 days.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Call me if you have any questions.
Good. Okay. Okay, we'll have to take this off of being tabled last time.
Move to untable.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the item we'll be addressing now is with respect to installation of a metal chimney for a wood-burning stove at 25 Rhine Road. And Belcito and Janet Turner are the owners. Sandwich Chimney Sweep is the installer. Good evening. So,
You just state your names for the record?
Sure. Janet Turner and Belcito.
Thank you. Yep.
good.
Well, first of all, thank you for your willingness to accommodate. I do believe, however, we suggested 2 trees, and I think 2 trees, notwithstanding this optimistic photo that you provided, showing a complete screen from one, very large arborvitae. We're starting with relatively small trees, I understand, 6 feet. So over time, it's going to take time for this pipe to be camouflaged. The black will certainly help. I think 2 trees would do the job a lot better if you could swing for 2.
Here, 2 trees is fine.
That's okay with you? Move to approve the application as amended.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just need to sign that.
Robert's going to write up an amendment that it would be 2.
Yeah.
How long till you can put some wood in that? If it takes them to come on.
Good. Ma'am, if you would sign here. There's a pen there.
Do you want us both to sign this, or
No.
you just sign this?
Good. Good luck with it. Gegenwarth.
Yes, thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Do they need to sign the amendment too?
Yeah. So I looked
So-
up that green giant arborvitae on the internet, and
So you just sign here, please.
they're very generous with their growth rates.
Thank you.
You said it grows 3 feet a year. I don't think on this Cape Cod soil it will do that. But, you know,
It might be
it's like
happy.
on steroids.
Yeah, I think so.
Juice it up.
Allow this fast growing. We'll find something good for it.
Good, okay. Have fun now.
Me.
Okay. So we have these conflict of interest forms to fill out and so on. And how you,
Anyone
how's
done them?
everybody making?
No, I did not.
Please do. I passed them out at the last meeting.
I
and
do
wrote-
remember.
I know, okay, that's all.
I remember now.
Okay.
I did the first step.
I'll try to send
You're
out
ahead
a
of us.
reminder before the next one.
Okay.
One of
Thanks,
them's
Beth.
easy, you just have to sign the form. The other one you do have to do online.
Well, no, technically you should look over.
Well, yes, I didn't mean
stuff.
that. I mean, you don't have to go online.
So I did that.
Right.
And the next part, though, is a little more difficult, and I haven't,
The conflict of interest one is online, yeah.
because it's going to be a slow day when I take the time to do that.
Yep. All right, that was just a reminder, really.
See, I have, in addition to this, which we do kind of annually, I do it annually for the hospital and for hospice. I have to go through a whole
This is
question
Trinity,
and stuff,
it's the
you know,
same company.
and then fill out a questionnaire of about 30 questions, you know. check off the
Good
right
question.
ones.
Yes.
So,
Beth,
Yes.
is Trinity the same on both the first applicant,
it's a different agent, though, isn't it?
different agent?
Uh-oh.
There was Trinity today, and it's Trinity at Helmsman.
I fixed it on the, are you looking at the legal ad? Or what are you looking at? What's
The
your
last
question?
item on
The last
the,
item is 44 Great Western.
Oh, what did I do?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
no,
nothing.
she just
Please.
for
I'm just
information.
Oh,
asking.
the solar panel company,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, I didn't, yes,
Same company, but different agent.
correct,
Oh, okay.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, I see what you're talking about. I didn't realize we skipped that far already. Oh, it's still up
Sorry.
here.
yeah. The agent here is a woman.
Yeah,
So-
this is a sticky one. You're talking 44 West Great Western. They have a, is this the one? Let me just read this again. They have a South Yarmouth mailing address. So there's the Acela program that they installed for the building department, and I don't know what other departments use it, but it flags all of the Yarmouth Port addresses as being historic. I don't know how that's done, whether it reads it by the word Yarmouth Port or zip code or how that works, but the South Yarmouth addresses, which are about 400 or so, that cross over that are in the Old Kings Highway District aren't flagged. We've been working on needing to do that for 6 months or so, and unless you've been here for a while and you know that that address is Old Kings Highway, a building department associate wouldn't know that. So
But what,
the system didn't flag it as an Old Kings Highway property, and a building permit was issued for these solar panels.
yeah, but I have to say, Beth has gone out of her way to make sure that the cards that we send out with the water bill go to those 400.
This address has gotten them, it's the same owners, and they have gotten them for from what I can
For
prove
year
myself, for
after
at least the
year.
last 3 years. And they are aware they're in the Old Kings Highway District.
Is there a way to manually flag the 400 within the
We're
Acela
working on
system?
that. This is, I think something like this had to happen for it to really come to the surface, but yes, we
Yeah.
need to work on it. I have all of the parcels identified, so now it's a matter of, I don't use Acela, so I don't know, I'm not familiar with it at all. I don't know if there's a field already available for us. That is something that, that the building commissioner is aware of and the community development director is aware of. We're working to work on that. In this case, the notice that went out, as I say here, it did say within 30 days of receipt, either remove the panels or submit an application for a certificate of appropriateness. And I did get a call from Trinity. They asked if it was in historic. When I said yes, the woman just said, thank you, and click. And then I received an email asking just for some assistance with like the abutters map, the abutters listing. But at that time, in my response, I did put in there, as you can see here, that I did suggest that, along with the application, that the owners submit some type of a plan to shield the panels from view. They're very visible. I don't know how many of you have driven by, but they're really visible. If they don't do that to your satisfaction, the building department can then get involved. And I don't know the correct terminology, but there is a term that the permit was issued. The word isn't erroneously. I just can't think of the term right now. And it is the owner's responsibility to be sure that they comply with all other departments. So Trinity may be eating some, I don't, we did double the fee. So we'll see. Hopefully they're going to come to, not the next meeting, but the one after. I haven't received the application as yet. So hopefully they can satisfy it with enough plantings that it doesn't have to be a further issue. But yeah, this was scary because this could have been something bigger that fell through. And
Yeah,
we're
it's-
trying to do things systemically, but it's only as good as the information that's in there. And departments install software, and they don't talk to everyone that should be involved. And that's how this one happened. And we kept saying that we need to put this field in, and no.
It's difficult, you know, we've been lenient with people when the situation is such that there are a lot of trees blocking the view. And like there was one on Center Street about a year ago. It was on the left side as you're going north on Center, and it had a lot of tall trees around. And they were putting it on the side of the house facing south very well, but you couldn't see anything, you know, when they were working on it or were finished. However, if they decide someday to cut the trees down, they'll be gone. And again, it'll be out in the open. And the issue, you know, we really can't stop them from taking the trees down. And so it's a problem as to what to do on these.
It's going to be a problem with any screening.
Yeah.
I mean, this pipe thing,
That's
they
right.
could, trees could fail,
Yeah.
or they could decide they don't like the trees, cut them down.
Yeah.
So what do you think we should do about this, Mr. Chairman?
I'm in a quandary with it. I'm starting to lose sleep over it, actually, because I'll wake up in the middle of the night and start thinking about it, and then I don't go to sleep for another hour or two. And
It's a tough one.
And I've discussed this issue with Jim Wilson several times. And of course, at the commission meetings, it comes up too. At the last appeal we had, there were examples in the town of Dennis where a house was approved, and there were a lot of nice shrubs there. And subsequently, they chop the tops off them. And so now when you're driving up Old Bass River Road, you can see the whole sea of solar panels on the top of this house. And, you know, when they first put them up, you couldn't. So they didn't cut them all down, they just cut the tops off and made them visible. So it's very hard. And we'll be getting more of these. And as I say, we've been kind of lenient in town of Dennis. If you could see them at all, they were rejecting them. And we would approve them if you've got to really look to see them, you know. Or, you know, in some cases, if it was on a road where there's practically no traffic, you know, we said they're not going to stand out because people just don't go there.
Mhm. I actually, there's an application coming up, I can't recall the address, but, and I don't know if it was submitted yet or not, but, you know, the gentleman is saying that, oh, but there's solar panels on this house, and this house, and this house. So I find myself many times repeating myself, okay, this one's on a cul-de-sac, it's not a heavily traveled road. All of the abutters came in and said, you know, we don't mind looking at them. This other one is a violation, and this other one was, you know, years back when they were few and far between, had, you know, little did we realize that they were going to explode like this. But, and then he said, well, you know, it cost me so much money to, like, heat my pool. I need solar panels to pay for the electricity to heat my swimming pool. And he's going to be ready to take it supposedly to the next level. But I try my best to not even get some of them to come through.
Yeah. You know, the thing about abutters consenting, I don't trust that entirely because there's a lot of peer pressure that comes into play.
Oh, sure.
It's hard to say
I
no
agree,
when
yeah.
your neighbor says,
There forever either. That's my thing. Like, people
Right.
don't stay in the same homes forever.
Right.
Yeah.
And the next neighbors
May
come
not
in
like
and they,
it.
oh, this is
Right.
terrible.
Right.
I got to look at this.
Some people think it raises their value, other people think it you know, diminishes their house value.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to get tougher and tougher, especially now that we're a green community.
Yeah, and this, the 44 Great Western, they could put, you know, ground level units. They could build a frame to hold them.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of planting fast-growing evergreens, but they'd have to grow really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and they'd have to, you know, get up to like 15,
really
20
tall.
feet to be
Yeah.
effective.
Yeah.
And they still wouldn't block the solar panels from getting the sun, but they would at least block the view as you're driving down the street.
in this case, do you think that ground-mounted panels would be an option?
Well, we'll see what they do. Yeah.
I don't know that Trinity does ground-mounted, but they have a lot of space in their front yard.
If they have a lot of space in their backyard.
Yeah, but they could put them in, why not the front yard with trees all around them?
Yeah,
Just say it. What if they say they don't have room in the backyard?
they do. You know.
Yeah, this one does. This is the one that we looked at that does.
Yeah, I drove down the street a couple of times.
The pool one does, I know. I looked at that one.
So anyway, we'll see what happens as they respond to our requests.
And Helmsman, they agreed to plantings. They even submitted, excuse me for a second. This is what they submitted when they came in. They were supposed to have a flagpole with 2 big trees in front.
Yeah, and they haven't put the
And-
flagpole up either.
You can see
Nothing.
that was taken on the 24th. This was taken on the 17th. So a default notice went out to them as well,
Mm.
giving them till April 30th because the ground isn't really conducive to planting right now, so
Yeah,
we
and
have the date of
it's
April
also
30th.
hard to go out and buy a
Mhm.
plant at this point. Nobody has them. Good, well, so we'll wait and see what happens as they come back on these questions. So our next meeting is Monday, February 11th. And
Yeah, I won't be here.
you'll be in Maine?
I'll be in Jamaica.
Jamaica! Oh, my heavens.
I'll be in Texas,
We'll be thinking of you.
You gonna be?
Dallas.
Dallas.
Okay.
So we have to get John out.
And
Don Marie.
Move to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.